Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. Okay, so today we're going to be exploring your career. Okay, so what is in store for you throughout 2025 when it comes to your career? We're going to be exploring all 12 signs. Thank you so much for being here. If you do benefit from your reading today, then please make sure to subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. And if you would like to learn more about astrology, head on over to the Cosmic Check-In podcast. Loads of episodes are available to learn. Plus, if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. And just to let you know about my bestseller, the Astrology Cheat Sheets, if you want to learn how to read your birth chart simply, you can pick up your own copy. All the links to my products and services will be in the description box. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get into your horoscopes. So we're going to dive right in by getting to Aries. So Aries, let's explore your career path throughout 2025. And I'm also going to say here that this information can apply if, for example, you run a business. So let's think about your career changes this year. Let's explore how Pluto has left your 10th. So, what you may notice coming into 2025 is that there are stronger foundations within your chosen career, within your chosen profession, within your business. Naturally, what we also want to think about, especially when we make this more individual, is locate Saturn. Okay, where is Saturn in your personal chart to sort of get a feel for what your career might actually look like and how you show up within it. Plus, the significant thing is that Pluto itself is now in your 11th house. So, with Pluto in the 11th, the thing about this area is that it can indicate money earned from our business, from our career. So, what we could see for you, Aries, throughout 2025 is possibly big money moves, big money changes, maybe working with pretty substantial, successful, powerful people. But it's also about facing your fears, I think. I think a big part of this is even addressing your unconscious drives and motivations. We could see some things fall away, right? Are the endings and the deaths related to Pluto, but there are also transformations. And I would say, especially with the Pluto retrograde throughout the year. So that will be more so towards the middle of the year, throughout the summer. That retrograde could be a good way for you to review any big money moves you want to make. Or we could look at this as you revisiting any fears that are hidden, right? Those unconscious fears, anything that holds you back, if you will. Okay, let's then think about money from your business, from your career. Firstly, Saturn. So Saturn rules this house for you as well. Saturn is currently in your 12th. And so since March of 2023, you have been showing great dedication to your education. So what you want to think about this in terms of your business, if you have one, how have you been maybe educating yourself more, learning more? But we could also look at this naturally through a lens of career changes. So this could even look like, for instance, traveling for work, commuting to work. Maybe there have been major shifts and changes that have happened, but all with the intention of wanting to make maybe more money or wanting to provide for yourself. Plus, Neptune has been in your 12th. And so the thing about this is that there has been a challenge between what is real versus ideal. This actually has been an opportunity for a good number of years since 2011 for you to reflect, for you to imagine. I think maybe, Aries, we could look at this as you dreaming up a plan or really deeply reflecting upon what you want when it comes to business or career, and possibly you making significant moves all throughout these number of years, right? And Uranus then as well. So Uranus will come into your third from June until October. Uranus, keep in mind, is the other ruler of your 11th. So what we could notice then throughout these particular months are these changes to tasks and routines within your business. We could see this through a lens of maybe greater efficiency, greater productivity. Yeah, I really think that Aries, you're going to be making significant career/business moves. And a big part of this will be about re-strategizing, will be about laying out a different plan, okay? Different routines, innovating when it comes to routines and task management and organization. Though I would like to mention that Uranus has been in your second since 2018. And even coming into the new year, 2025, so up until June time, Uranus is still there. I think Uranus in the second has actually been really good for you in terms of creativity. Okay, thinking about your creativity, your individuality, originality. Perhaps this is about, okay, well, what sets me apart when it comes to business? That just as one example. But remember that Uranus will move back into your second towards the end of the year. And so that would be a good opportunity for you to review such areas. Okay, let's now move on. Let's think about career, property, or rentals. Are there any maybe significant changes you want to make there throughout 2025? Well, let's firstly consider how Saturn and Neptune will be coming into this first house arena for you. So we're talking about May to until September time. Any property you want to buy, anywhere, any unit you want to rent, could even be like a storage unit, for instance. It could be some rental to do with expanding your business or wanting to make changes. Yeah, we could even look at this as some kind of agreement to do with a seller or trade or a particular warehouse or a manufacturer. So there could actually be new chapters coming in here to do with career, property, or rentals. But you see, Mars coming into 2025, and I'm talking about Mars retrograde now. So I'm recording this at the beginning of January, all the way up until the 23rd of February. Mars retrograde is in your fourth. So actually, Aries, good opportunity for you to look over contracts and agreements. Do your research. If it is maybe that you want to rent somewhere out, you want to buy property for career reasons, or maybe it's that you want to make certain changes or movements to do with your career path. Maybe it is about providing for your family. Look over contracts and agreements. Maybe it's that you want a raise. Maybe it's that you want to take things to the next level within your business. Whatever it may be, look over contracts and agreements. All right. As for oh, by the way, just want to mention, remember that Mars will eventually turn direct on the 23rd of February. So what we could notice is coming into more May time, May and beyond, is that things could actually move forward. There could be some developments when it comes to these matters. Okay, let's think about business partnerships and your greatest accomplishments within your career. Well, we want to think about the moon for one, and also Venus. Let's talk about Venus firstly. Venus retrograde will happen from March until April. And Venus retrograde will occur partly in your sign and then also in Pisces. So, what does this suggest? Actually, the Venus retrograde will be an opportunity for you to refine your education. So, we bring this back a little bit to all of the dedication and education that's been happening with relation, oh, very rhyming here, with relation to your business, to your career. So the Venus retrograde will be an opportunity for you to refine such areas, review such areas with the intention of making things obviously stronger, better, more successful, right? This is about accomplishment with this Venus influence for you. And then also, a part of the Venus retrograde will be related to that of the career property stuff, the rental stuff, but also related to family and home. For instance, Aries, this could be that a big driving factor for you this year when it comes to your career is really about supporting your family, providing for your family. And then just to finish off here, when we think about it, Jupiter is going to enter your fourth house, And that will happen from June 2025 for the remainder of 2025. Of course, it will be longer than that, but we're just focusing on the year ahead. Still, Jupiter coming into your fourth could actually grant you blessings, good luck, and fortune when it comes to business partnerships. And also how those business partnerships are tied in with your family desires and goals, and really what you want to achieve when it comes to family and home. So that's really exciting, I think. And hey, I guess the other thing about this is with the eclipses. So eclipses will happen in your sixth and 12th houses. So maybe your business partnerships will go through significant endings or beginnings. Maybe a part of it is letting go of an older employer, or this could be you qualifying when it comes to your degree, or qualifying when it comes to a higher educational program, a qualification in some way. Or maybe this is about embracing the new in some way, shape, or form when it comes to just social media or networking, or how it is that you perhaps advertise your business, as just one example. Thank you so much, Aries. And now moving on to Taurus. Okay, so Taurus, let's talk about career changes for you throughout 2025. Well, what do we see here? Pluto has officially entered your 10th house, where it will be for the next 20 years. So, what we could see for you, Taurus, is well, beginning stages to do with how you really transform and empower yourself when it comes to your career path. For many of you Taurians, it could be letting go completely of an older career path that just no longer aligns with you. For others of you, it could be more of an internal thing. So just feeling a bit more empowered, or like you can take things on, maybe stepping up to a new challenge. This could even be a case of you rebelling against authority, pushing back against the status quo or anything that you don't agree with. Or maybe a part of this is about being more community focused, community centered, thinking about teamwork, really gathering with a group of like minds. Maybe this is where you're going to feel really called towards over the next coming years. But as I say, with Pluto first entering your 10th, we could look at this possibly as planting the seed, or we could look at this as the beginning of a journey. And we could also possibly look at this through a lens of you completely reinventing yourself. Reinventing yourself. It could just be as black and white as that, out with the old, in with the new Taurus when it comes to career changes. But let's continue on and think about this further, because Saturn, so remember, Saturn is one of the rulers of your career house. Saturn is going to, well, it has been in your 11th house. So, what we've noticed for you, especially if it is that you're Taurus and you run your own business, we're noticing possible financial limitations. We could also look at this as being in a bit of a waiting area. We could look at this as possible delays. Maybe things are outside of your control. Maybe you're waiting for certain other business components or people to get back to you. So, yes, it could be something that's just out of your control. Hey, maybe a part of this is having to address your own sense of self worth, and having to look at, okay, well, what is the kind of money or the sort of resources that I want to make from my business, as an example? And how can I maybe trust that process, with Saturn being in Pisces, of course. But you see, Neptune is also there and has been there since 2011. So, for many of you Taurians, I would say you've been following your financial dreams. It's just that with Saturn coming along, being there since March of 2023, and especially with it going to connect stronger with Neptune over the coming weeks and months, etc., we're seeing just more restriction. But this, hey, it's really a good opportunity then to knuckle down, to say, okay, well, what is the foundation here? It's a good opportunity for you to think a bit more cautiously or realistically, or to plan a bit, to structure things a bit. Okay, and also I just want to mention such matters by doing such things. You could hopefully set up a financial situation that could stand the hands of time, so to speak, right? It could be setting yourself up for the future, thinking about even how, of course, in the 11th house for you, a lot of the 11th house is about your future aims and hopes and dreams. Let's now move on though, because we also notice that Uranus has been in your first house since 2018. So, Taurus, you have been embracing new chapters, new significant life chapters. It could be that many of you have literally relocated, you've bought your first home. Maybe such matters have come about pretty unexpectedly. Perhaps it's because of your career moves, security within your career, that you've been able to support yourself. And then also, we see here that Uranus is going to enter your second. And so that's going to be from about July until October time. It's going to be the beginning stages, right? Just a short period. Of course, Uranus will enter your second officially from 2026 onwards. But maybe what we're going to notice then from July until October are these questions about, okay, do I feel fulfilled within my profession? Do I feel happy within my business? Is there something that I want to change creatively? Is there something that doesn't align with me anymore when it comes to my business or my career? Yeah, big themes coming up. Could also be, for instance, you wanting to have another child, or you wanting to focus more on family and things like that. And so it is about career changes. Okay, let's now focus on money from your business, money from your profession. Jupiter and Neptune rule this house for you. We think firstly about how Jupiter has been in your second house since May of 2024. So, yes, this is where we see possibly you making the money that you make from your business or your career a priority because you want to provide for your children. That's one way to look at it. But this could also be about you wanting to try different ways of being creative, right? We think about Gemini, it's quite versatile, it's quite curious, it's quite adaptable. So, yeah, this could be then about, well, new ideas to do with money from my business, but more so exploring them from this place of, I want to be creative, I want to be artistic. Jupiter then will enter your third from June 2025 for the next year ahead. So, what we could see is that you will embrace new routines and tasks, but perhaps such new routines and tasks are somehow tied in with, could be family matters, but this could also be about more of what you need. Maybe this is where a lot of your career focus or your business stuff will be linked to how you really feel. And maybe there are going to be big themes tied to what you can physically, realistically do, and just being more aligned with your body, for instance. Really focusing on your emotional needs here, Taurus. So we want to relate this a bit back to the money that you make from your business or career, because actually, well, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. And there is this sextile influence between you and Cancer. So, if anything, we could look at this as, okay, you trusting your inner guide, you trusting your intuition to maybe make yourself more of a priority when it comes to your emotional needs. And then that within itself sort of says, hey, well, money's coming, right? It's just this whole thing, maybe when we connect it, especially and with the North Node entering your 11th throughout 2025, is trust the process, trust it. Also, Saturn and Neptune. So, Saturn and Neptune, they have been in your 11th. They will be moving into your 12th house. And so, we could look at this throughout the year as this question of what's real, what's ideal. We could also look at this as you currently embracing roles or professions that are more about spirituality, or they're more about embracing greater flow in your life. But you see, with Saturn and Neptune coming into your 12th as well, we're still going to see these themes. But I think a part of it could be, for instance, you wanting to write in solitude, or you wanting to more so take some time away to focus on your intellectual projects, or your writing, or your music, for instance. Moving on then to career, property, or rentals. So Venus is the ruler of these areas for you, and Venus retrograde, keep in mind as well that Venus is your chart ruler, but Venus retrograde will happen March until April, occurring in your 12th and 11th houses. So this is your opportunity, Taurus, to review your finances. Review the finances from your business, from your career. Maybe it's sort of like, it's thinking to yourself, okay, after honestly looking over my finances that I make for my career, in actuality, I want to do less. This is what I'm getting really for many Taurians out there. It's more of an intentional desire to do less rather than doing more. Plus, it's an opportunity for you to look over and to refine your learning methods, especially if it is that you incorporate teaching or writing or researching into your business. That Venus retrograde could really help you refine things and get you more aligned with what you want to do. Okay, let's then move on to business partnerships and your greatest accomplishments within your career. The Sun rules your business partnerships, and then Mars rules these greatest accomplishments. What I'm going to say here is remember that Mars is retrograde in your third house coming into 2025. So, really, it is about honestly considering, okay, what about my everyday routines, the practical stuff? Review those things. And then hopefully, from you reviewing those matters, you can consider, okay, well, what do I want to accomplish for the long haul here? What is it that I actually want to achieve when it comes to my business? Plus, we also want to think about how Mars was retrograde towards the end of 2024 in your fourth house, inviting a period of reflection and review to do with business partnerships and collaboration. So, thinking about who you want to work with and the kinds of contracts or agreements that you want to sign. So, kind of business deals that you want to sign, for instance, or agree to. But you see, Mars will be direct, and this will be around, I would say, more coming into May time of 2025. And so from about May onwards, we could see you moving forward with a new business partnership, with a new deal that you make, a new contract that you sign. And really coming towards the end of the year, we can look at this as a whole new you being born, right? We can look at this as you truly stepping into a new era. And think about it. We're getting a glimpse of the planets, so the generational planets of Neptune and Uranus moving into different signs throughout 2025. And so coming into 2026, after your period of considering, well, what do I want for my future? Maybe you're going to arrive to the end of the year coming into 2026 a bit more like, yeah, I'm ready to embrace the change. I know exactly what I want. I know how to get it. I am ready for the new. Thank you, Taurus. And now on to Gemini. Okay, Gemini, let's talk about you. Any career changes throughout 2025? Well, let's consider how Saturn and Neptune have been in your 10th house for quite a while. Saturn has been there since March of 2023, and Neptune has been there since 2011. So we have been noticing significant career changes, and how perhaps such career moves, such career changes have been about one, you wanting to be more of an authority or more of a professional, but also you being flexible, being open to the flow, to the current, to where it is that you're meant to be, so to speak, with Neptune. Maybe even a big part of this is about how creative you've been or trying different roles. Okay, thinking even about acting or film or media, spirituality. But a big part of this is about your dreams and your visions and your fantasies. And it's those things that perhaps have been running wild, if you will, Gemini. Maybe even taking on compassionate roles. Now, of course, we do want to remember where Jupiter is within your natal chart for more information about all of this to make it more personal. In a similar fashion, when we were talking to Taurus, of course, for Taurus, it would have to be looking to Saturn there. But I digress. What we see here is that from April until October of 2025, these planets are going to leave your 10th, and the North Node is coming into your 10th at the very beginning of 2025 for the whole year. So we are going to see major changes. We are going to see major moves to do with your career trajectory, to do with a business. If it is that you own a business, you're a Gemini. We could also look at this as changes to do with success or status, changes to do with accomplishment or achievement, or thinking even about you stepping into a role where you are perhaps a business owner, you are an entrepreneur, or you are a manager, you're a leader, you're a boss. So we're going to see things change in pretty, perhaps remarkable ways. And a big part of 2025 is about you embracing the flow, embracing the new when it comes to your profession, because the North Node will be in your 10th. Plus, Jupiter has been in your first since May of 2024. So another nod at changes to do with your very identity, your aims, your goals. And even we could look at this as some new property or a rental, perhaps. We can look at this as you maybe relocating or changing your scenery, changing the environment around you so that you can make your business run more smoothly. Maybe opportunities have really been happening for you when it comes to career property or rentals. But then Jupiter is going to enter your second from June 2025 for the rest of the year. And so we could look at this then as you really taking your time to consider, okay, what feels good? My creative projects, what is it that I'm drawn towards? Maybe we could look at this as truly asking yourself, okay, well, what's going to make me happy within this role? Could be quite a prosperous thing, honestly, especially when we think about how Jupiter will be in your second house from June onwards. So we could see greater abundance or prosperity when it comes to your personal finances, your personal resources, your wealth, right? Your wealth. Let's then move on and think about money from your business or your career. Mars rules this house for you, or these areas for you. Mars is retrograde in your second at the very beginning of 2025, all the way up until the end of February. So actually, Gemini, take the beginning of the year to get comfortable with exploring what lights you up, exploring your wealth, exploring your resources and your values, anything that you want to keep, anything that's quite sentimental. How might you even be clinging on a little bit? Anything that you've to let go of because you're holding on so tight. Maybe a part of it too is about your emotional needs, your emotional security. Maybe also a part of this is about children, providing for loved ones. Family matters are really coming up here. Maybe also a part of this is about creativity, right? A part of it is about, okay, well, my creative projects, what is it about my creative projects that I would like to refine or change? And it's these things that are tied in with the money that you make from your business or your career. So, just one example from this could be by you reevaluating what lights you up when it comes to your business or your career. Maybe this within itself can support you or help you make more money. Moving on. Let's think about career, property, or rentals. So Mercury rules these things for you. And I want to consider, firstly, with this, how Mercury retrograde, there's going to be a Mercury retrograde in your 10th and 11th houses. So this will be from March until April. Interesting to see the 10th and the 11th as a part of this, because the 10th is about your career. The 11th is about money from your career, money from your business. It's also about your hopes and wishes for the future. So indeed, we're going to see big questions to do with reprioritizing and reorganizing things, thinking things over, refining what it is that you want, really considering, okay, well, where do I feel called? What is my path? What is my direction? Maybe a big part of it even is about tapping into your personal fire, drawing from your fire and your passions. But you see, it's that Mercury retrograde from March until April that could maybe even assist you in some way, shape, or form when it comes to property or rentals. So, for instance, if it is that you've an interest in maybe buying property, it could very well be that you do with Jupiter in your first. It's about taking that Mercury retrograde as an opportunity to look over the plans. And then also, Uranus will come into your first from July up until October. About that. What's that about? That's so much about innovation. Innovation. Maybe even, you know what, a part of this is if it is that you work from home, okay, maybe you have a business, you're a Gemini, you work from home. Maybe a part of this is about innovating within the home, innovating using technology. Okay, let's now think about business partnerships and greatest accomplishments within your career. Mercury rules business partnerships for you. So, coming into the summer, we could see significant new routines and responsibilities being ushered in or being looked at and addressed. So, that I think within itself could be quite interesting and exciting. But also consider how the South Node is in your it's in your fourth. So, with it being in your fourth house in Virgo, maybe your business partnerships are going to take on a whole different look. Maybe because you're going to let go of what doesn't work. It's a good way for you, Gemini, to see what's working and what isn't, especially with respect to business partnerships, contracts, agreements. What is no longer working, and how can you maybe move forward with this greater recognition of, okay, well, I gotta think about what I need within my profession. Moving on then to this Jupiter influence. So Jupiter is going to enter, like I was saying, your second house, June of 2025. So, with Jupiter ruling your greatest accomplishments within your career, maybe this will be indeed about embracing your individuality. I think Gemini 2025 is an opportunity for you to sort of think through, okay, well, truly, where am I being called? What's inspiring me? What am I passionate about? What really what really makes me feel excited? And it's stepping into this new era. And I especially think this with Saturn and Neptune entering your 11th house. We're going to get a taster of it throughout 2025, but by 2026, they'll be starting their full transits. So we think about the 11th through a lens of future aims and hopes. So I think what you're entering into here, Gemini, is okay, it is time to make myself a priority when it comes to accomplishing the things that I want to, and how this is about my future. Okay, the self, very much about the self. But hey, also part of it is being honorable, because Aries Aries is also a sign that reminds us to be honorable and to be leaders with intention. And so we could see you indeed leading the way for many people and inspiring other people to maybe reach higher or to do better. Thank you so much, Gemini. Now let's move on to Cancer. Okay, Cancer, let's talk about career changes for you throughout 2025. First and foremost, we want to explore how Mars is the ruler of your career, basically. And the North Node has been in your 10th since July of 2023. Therefore, Cancer, new leadership positions you have went after, and you perhaps have strongly put yourself first. You have considered what it is that you want when it comes to success, establishing yourself, what you want from a job or from a career or from a position. And a big part of this too, I think, is about following your soul's purpose, destiny. But you see, coming into 2025, we have this Mars retrograde in your first. So the retrograde is at the beginning of 2025, coming into February, so around the end of February. We can look at this as Cancer, you reviewing your home life, maybe revisiting older family conflicts or disagreements, tensions. Perhaps also a part of this has been about your health, your physical body, the importance of looking after yourself, Cancer, maybe taking it slower. And the other thing to mention is with Mars retrograde happening in your 12th house, or sorry, your second house, my apologies, your second house. And that was from around December coming into 2025. So around December 2024, coming into 2025, Cancer, that was your opportunity to really go over your creativity, to go over your passions, your interests, how you might even wish to incorporate a new creative approach, right? To try something differently or to revisit an older creative project that maybe you put on the shelf for a while. So we could see this, but also questions to do with, am I happy here? Do I feel like being here makes me genuinely feel good? And then fulfilled, right? It's this whole thing of feeling fulfilled. And what you're going to see, and this will be from about May onwards, May of 2025 onwards, is that with Mars being direct, continuing to move through Cancer and Leo, is that you could very well move forward with this greater determination, this greater grit, this greater focus when it comes to things like property or rental, when it comes to your aims, your goals, a newfound vision. This could also be about feeling a lot more aligned with your individuality. Plus, Saturn and Neptune will enter your 10th from April until October. So we are going to see significant changes to your career, to your business, if it is that you own a business as a Cancerian. We're going to see this, well, on one hand, the ideals, the longings, the dreams, maybe dreaming up a better way, embracing a beautiful vision when it comes to leadership or coaching, for instance, or management. But on the other hand, we can look at this as having to face the truth, having to face the reality of a situation. So it's going to be an interesting one to think about how you're going to address both what is overly dreamy and idealistic and is a bit more deceptive, perhaps, where you get your hopes up or you're disappointed, maybe with members of authority or with managers or bosses. But we're also going to see this as you rising to the occasion, or you maybe putting in healthy limits or healthy boundaries in place. This is just, of course, the beginning stages, and more will happen from 2026 onwards. Moving on then, money from your business, money from your career. Venus rules these things. And Venus is retrograde from March until April of 2025. Happening where? Happening partly in your 10th, but also in your 9th. So this is about you strongly considering could be a different path completely. It could be a significant career move that you make. So you stay put, but it's also about a change in status or a change when it comes to recognition. It could be about wanting a promotion. It could be about wanting to be seen by more people online. It could be about wanting your expertise to be valued and noticed by the collective, by others. Yeah, greater recognition here. But also, a part of the retrograde will invite you to go within and will invite you to maybe draw from your teachings that you've been refining, that you've been perfecting in some way since March of 2023. Go over things, go over the plan, go over what it is that you desire, what it is that you value behind the scenes, right? A lot of contemplation could happen. And then this within itself can maybe support you when it comes to money, the earnings from your business, from your career. Moving on, career, property, or rentals. The moon rules these matters for you. So let's think of it firstly as the eclipses. So the eclipses are going to take place in your third and ninth houses. Keep in mind that the nodes are also going to be in your third and ninth houses throughout 2025. So maybe it is that you're going to consider buying property for your business or selling property. It could be about reorganizing your space. It could be about decluttering, getting rid of what doesn't work, maybe older methods or ways of doing things. You're like, no, that is no longer serving me. But also, a big part of this is about solitude and rest and being able to recharge. Maybe a big part of the career property stuff is somehow tied in with, okay, well, I want to have a rest area, or I want to make sure that I'm not so tangled up in my work. Maybe it's creating some space. So to separate business from pleasure, possibly. For example, if it is that you're Cancerian and you work from home, maybe you're considering, I need a different room or a different space or a different area so that I'm separating my business from my everyday life. Okay, moving on then to Jupiter. So Jupiter is going to actually enter your first house from June 2025 for the rest of the year. So what do we notice? You could very well make your dreams come true. The stuff that I'm talking about, it could happen. It could be that you have the resources. It could be that you have the opportunity. It could be that family help you out. There could be a significant relocation matter that comes up. Hey, we could even look at this as some of you Cancerians buying a new vehicle, or it could be about you heading out in the open road and there's just more space. There's more space, there's more room to breathe. All right, so moving on to business partnerships and your greatest accomplishments within your career. There is a mistake there. It should say Venus. So Venus rules your business partnerships. So we could actually see you collaborating with different people, you maybe revisiting an older collaboration, an older partnership situation, and how those matters are then linked to your, of course, this could be your professional lives, because the Venus retrograde, as I said, we go back to Venus, and Venus retrograde will happen partly in your 10th. But we could also see this as new leadership roles, establishing yourself overall, and just a big key focus for you throughout 2025, Cancer, is to be your own authority. And one more thing I want to mention, remember, if you want to make this more personal, remember to locate Mars itself in your chart. So where is Mars in your chart to really provide more information about your career? Thank you, Cancer. And now on to Leo. All right, Leo. So, any significant career changes coming up for you throughout 2025? First and foremost, Venus rules your 10th house. So, Venus will be retrograde from March until April of 2025, happening in your 9th and 8th houses. Therefore, Leo, we could see this as you taking the opportunity to re-examine networking, communities, previous teams that you've been a part of, previous organizations you've been a part of. It's just a good opportunity for you to get a sense for, okay, well, how do I feel when it comes to these areas, and how might you wish to change things? It could even just be a simple case of changing the very work dynamics. So we think about the relationships within your career itself. So maybe some interesting developments there, refining things. Plus, it's also an opportunity for you to perhaps rest, okay, to go behind the scenes a little bit, to rest, to get a feel for what the next step is. And maybe a big part of that is about passion or excitement and inspiration. And I'm also going to say this: Uranus has been transiting your 10th house since 2018, Leo. So already your career, your profession has really changed, and you've maybe surprised yourself. You've perhaps innovated in huge ways, and you have embraced new significant chapters. Some of this is actually very exciting, and perhaps even a big part of it is tied to technology, maybe because of technology, because of the access. So we think about how you can gain resources or finances because of that accessibility via technology. So this is where we're seeing significant shifts happen for you. Hey, you know what? Maybe a big part of the Venus retrograde from March until April is actually more about how you can show up in collaboration with others. And I'm thinking about this more so in terms of being around large groups of people, maybe establishing something new or looking to a different way of doing things. So, how you can change things basically within your career or within your business. Moving on, money from your business or your career. Mercury rules these matters for you. And Jupiter has been in your 11th house since May of 2024. So, actually, what we've been seeing for you, Leo, is an increase in money from your business or your career. Such a positive placement to have when we think about running a business. And then also opportunities, more opportunities. Think also about how with Gemini is quite a social, chatty sign. And in the 11th house for you, of course, this is about your future hopes and wishes. And so maybe a big part of the resources that you're gaining or the finances that you're gaining from your business or your career is actually helping you maybe strive for this future you. It's maybe supporting your future in a way where it is about you want greater flexibility, you want to be able to learn. I just feel like, Leo, uh, you grow to become very childlike and you don't take yourself overly seriously. Okay, Jupiter then will enter your 12th, and this will be from June of 2025 for the rest of the year. Of course, it will be there longer, but let's just focus on 2025. But we could also look at this as new learning opportunities. Maybe even a part of it is learning about money, learning about investments or passive income, for example. Yeah, plenty of learning opportunities. Maybe even a part of it is about trade, or it's about communication, advertising, doing research or market research, all as a way to perhaps support you within your business, within your career. Then you see Uranus will enter into your 11th from about July until October. So, in actuality, things are really going to innovate when it comes to the money that you make from your business or your career. It could even be that you decide to try out a whole different strategy, right? You just decide, hey, you know what? I'm really going to try something completely new, completely fresh. It could even be that you're forced to change in some way, shape, or form. But there is this innovation present to completely do away with the old and make room for the new. Maybe even a part of it is about teamwork or joining together with like minds. Technology could be a big factor as well. Okay, career, property, or rentals. So the sun rules these matters for you, and summer of 2025, Mercury is actually going to be retrograde in your first. And so, Leo, it could be a good way for you to revisit property rentals, maybe to look at any repairs you want to make, anything you want to fix, anything that you want to improve. Also, a good way for you to really consider what the next step is for you, right? It could be this embracing a new chapter within your business, a new chapter within your career, or it could be literally uh, completely changing things up, completely changing your goals, completely changing your aims. Think about it further. The South Node is in your second house for throughout 2025, and so here we see you possibly letting go of an old interest or a hobby that no longer aligns with you. It could also be about the ways in which you organize your personal earnings, your personal wealth, your personal spendings and savings and things like that. Yeah, we could see this as you looking at things and thinking, hey, no, that's no longer relevant. That's not very efficient. Let's do away with that, and let's actually make sure that we're using greater discernment, or let's refocus. Let's look at a different plan, a different method. And it's these things that then could possibly be slightly connected in with creativity. Okay. A new creative strategy, for instance. Hey, maybe a small goal of yours throughout 2025 is how to make your business more fun or playful or more enjoyable, just as one example. Okay, so lastly, business partnerships and greatest accomplishments within your career. Mars rules your business partnerships, and Mars, of course, is retrograde partly in your sign and Cancer coming into 2025. So maybe, for instance, if it is that you're considering buying property with a business partner, you're interested in renting a space, renting a unit, or a product, and again, it involves your business partner. The retrograde in your sign coming into 2025 could be an opportunity to go over those plans. And then by May of this year, we could then see you move forward with that particular project. That's one example. But another way to think about this is Mars retrograde coming into your 12th. So this is from January until the end of February. So this could be an opportunity to review, okay, more about how you and your business partner, or you and someone that you work with within your career, how you maybe communicate. Maybe it's some sort of project that you're working on together. It's some research that you're having to do as a team. But whatever the case may be, it is about revisiting those areas, and new business deals could happen tied to property. And it's time to consider the kinds of teams or groups you want to be a part of as well, when we think about how Aquarius is sort of ruling this greatest accomplishment arena for you. Maybe this is a year where it is about striving for something bigger. Okay. And maybe it's also about wanting to support, wanting to help, being a bit of a humanitarian as well. Thank you so much, Leo. And now on to Virgo. Okay, Virgo, let's now talk about you. What about career changes throughout 2025? First up, I want to explore how Jupiter has been in your 10th since May of 2024. And so we have been noticing interesting developments, new opportunities, different collaborations, new learning styles, learning methods, many new ways, just switching things up, spicing things up, really, when it comes to your business, when it comes to your career. Virgo, being open to change, being open to learning something new. So that's pretty exciting. And we also see possibly career expansion, just new ideas. However, I just want to highlight that more so coming towards the end of 2024 and coming into 2025, there has been that square between Jupiter and Saturn happening in your 10th and 7th houses. So actually we have been seeing some limitations and blockages, and so it could feel a little bit like I'm not really seeing the rewards, I'm not really seeing these opportunities, or how I've grown, how I've expanded. It's like I have loads of ideas and I have a lot to say, and I have educated myself more, but how does that actually show up realistically and practically even when it comes to resources, right? So I want you to remember that Saturn is going to continue to move and Jupiter is going to turn retrograde from the 4th of February. And then by June, it's going to come into your 11th house. And so we're going to see some interesting developments in terms of possibly your earnings increasing, financial gain, greater prosperity when it comes to the money that you make from your business or from your career, okay? Because of course Jupiter will go into Cancer, and like I've put there, with Jupiter entering into the 11th, this is what we could see: increase in earnings. Thinking about how the 11th represents the money that we make from business or career. Before we go any further, just quickly, this goes without saying, make sure that you are locating the ruler of your 10th. So in your case, Virgo, it is Mercury. I mean, for Leos a moment ago, it's Venus. But yeah, look to Mercury for more information about your career to make it more personal. But let's now also explore how Uranus is going to follow. So Uranus is going to follow into the 10th from July until October of 2025. So we're going to see greater innovation and change, and the unexpected could happen. For some Virgos, yes, it could literally be a whole new trajectory when it comes to your career. For other Virgos, it could be about trying something new, embracing the new when it comes to these ideas, when it comes to educating yourself, maybe trying different methods, for instance, within your current profession. We could also maybe look at this as you juggling a couple different roles at once. And with Gemini in the 10th, this seems to be the case for you, Virgo. But indeed, Uranus is going to come through and really shake things up. Could be exciting, could be accelerating, but it could also be slightly like, considering how Uranus doesn't Gemini makes a bit of a square to you, Virgo. It could just be where it feels a little bit scattered, a little bit inconsistent, but hopefully you won't panic too much or freak out too much. And hey, let's face it, Virgo, you do seem to create order out of chaos quite well. But I'm also going to say, remember that the South Node has now entered your sign. Well, the day I'm recording this, it's not there, but from the 11th of January, for the next 18 months, the South Node will be in your sign. And so it will be important for you not to latch on or hang on. It will be important for you to embrace maybe greater interest or greater learning to do with compassion or forgiveness, to self-soothe, to try and not get yourself super caught up in details that actually don't matter in the long run. Okay, this then leads me on to the eclipses, because remember, the 11th house is about the money that we make from business and our career. And so the eclipses are going to happen in your 1st and 7th houses throughout 2025. So what we're going to see is big shifts, new chapters, new beginnings, possibly having to let go of an old rule, an old method, an old attitude, possibly having to be mindful about your health and your body here, Virgo. We could also possibly look at this through a lens of you really following your path when it comes to, okay, well, what are my dreams? What are my wildest dreams and fantasies when it comes to what I want to accomplish from my career? And maybe a part of it is having to be somewhat realistic to an extent as well, where you have to give something up. There's maybe a big part of this that says surrender to the unknown, Virgo. hmm And I'm also going to mention just slightly here, there will be the solar eclipse, which will happen in your eighth house, and that will happen March of 2025. So when we think about this in terms of business and career, hey, this could be about really getting together with like minds, a new significant chapter to do with teamwork and communities. And it's that sort of supportive feel, when you're working in combination and collaboration with others, this is where you may feel just the most like inspired or like you can do it. It's interesting to connect that with Jupiter being in the 11th as well, where we are going to see increases when it comes to possibly friendships, organizations, clubs, groups, etc., bigger networks, fan base, subscribers, followers, all that good stuff. Okay, moving on. Career, property, or rentals. Mercury rules these areas for you. There will be, of course, the South Node in your first house. Remember that throughout 2025. So maybe a part of it is about letting go of a particular property or rental that maybe you once had in mind, but it's like, that's not really aligned with me anymore. Or it could be about letting go of a certain behavior or attitude that blocks you from achieving that. Think also about how Mercury retrograde will be from March until April, happening in your eighth and seventh houses. So, this will be a good way for you to actually review your accomplishments, review your long term goals, teamwork. All of this stuff will be linked to these career changes. And also, further, I think, linked to any interesting developments you want to make when it comes to property and rentals. Moving on, then, lastly, to business partnerships and your greatest accomplishments within your career. How exciting for you in a way, because Jupiter and Jupiter, right? Jupiter rules this, well, both areas for you. We think about how this year could invite luck and expansion within these areas, tied to wider visions, possibly traveling, exploring things outside of your comfort zone, just opening yourself up to the new. Virgo, I think a big part of 2025 is to let go of certain expectations or what you think is the best way, possibly. Maybe a part of it is to embrace the unknown, to embrace the unexpected, to be open to other methods, other ways, to be open to different tools, and maybe to be open to other people helping you and supporting you and recognizing that you don't have to do it all alone. But overall, I do think that this could be a year where you indeed follow your hopes and your dreams, and you'll feel somewhat blessed. So that's really exciting and interesting, Virgo. Thanks so much, Virgo. And now on to Libra. So moving on to Libra, let's talk about you, Libra, and any potential career changes throughout 2025. Okay. First and foremost, it is the moon that rules your house of career and your professional life. And what we want to think about then is the fact that eclipses are going to occur in your sixth and 12th houses throughout the year. Also, the North Node will be in your sixth and the South Node will be in your 12th. So we could look at this as greater reach, more clients, more eyes on you, basically. We could look at this as even more research, expanding your knowledge, expanding your worldviews, possibly traveling for work reasons. Or this could be more so about refining your beliefs. Okay, so your beliefs about career, or a big part of it could be about self belief in this regard. Plus, we could also see this as you perhaps moving away from an old habit or an old pattern related to how you educate or how you learn. Maybe this is also about doing away with an older marketing strategy or advertising method. Maybe as well, it could be about polishing up your trade or just making significant changes in some way, shape, or form so that things can be better. Do keep in mind that, yes, because eclipses will happen in the 6th and 12th houses, I think a big part of 2025 will focus on your work and services, routines, your daily habits, and embracing something quite new and expansive. Furthermore, Jupiter will enter your 10th. So here we go. Jupiter comes into your 10th, June of 2025. So we are going to see expansion. We are going to see greater opportunities on the horizon here for you throughout 2025, Libra. Hey, it could very well be that some of you decide to become parents, or it could be that parenthood is just more of a priority in your lives. Or we could look at this as entering into roles or enhancing your skills within roles that involve nurture, care, and support. But Jupiter does look at blessings and possibly this greater growth, the ability to expand. Moving on then to the money that you make from your business or your career. So the sun rules this part for you, your money from your business or your career. And the interesting thing is that coming in to 2025, we have this Mars retrograde partly in your 11th and partly in your 10th houses. So this is an opportunity, Cancer or Libra, for you to go over to review the money from your business. But Mercury retrograde throughout the summer of 2025 will also be an opportunity to do this. Maybe a part of coming into the new year, it's more about energy, drive, passion, motivation, and leadership. So thinking about potential leadership positions, playing around with your creativity. But coming into the summer of 2025, yes, older projects could be looked at. Maybe it's about revisiting an investor, or it could even be about reviewing the ways in which you budget or spend or earn your money. But yeah, big money themes, I think, and do consider with Mars retrograde also entering into the 10th and being there up until around about the end of February. It's also an opportunity for you to sort of retrace your steps, to refine things when it comes to your long-term goals, when it comes to public your public identity. So how you show up in front of the public. Big themes even tied to status coming up. More so from this place of emotional security. Moving on. Career, property, or rentals. Venus rules these things for you. There will be that Venus retrograde from March until April in your 7th and 6th houses. So what could this indicate? Yeah, this could be about you really looking at the value of your audience, maybe feedback from your audience or your viewers. Maybe this is about going to an older mentor or a teacher, or it's about looking over your previous teachings or being open to learning something new so you can really step it up and level up, so to speak, within your career. Perhaps such matters are also somehow tied in with property or rentals. So if you want to rent a space, if you're interested in that, or you want to maybe expand, right? We go back to the 10th house influence with Jupiter later on, but if you want to expand in some way when it comes to your career, when it comes to your business, maybe Venus retrograde could be your opportunity to look over, okay, well, what is my message? What is my meaning? Publications can be looked at, broadcasting. Plus, hey, a big part of it could be about leadership, independence, innovating, trying something new, being the first to do something. Yes, very interesting and very exciting in a way too, especially when we think about how Saturn, so Saturn will come into your 7th, May until about September of 2025, Libra. And so we could actually see different new business partnerships and relationships developing. But these matters, I think, are also going to be linked in with your greatest accomplishments within your career. It could be a substantial, pretty well established partnership. It's very professional, perhaps, and maybe because of that combination of you and another, uh, This has been ushered in even, I think, with the North Node in your seventh partly, but because of that combination, we could see you achieve really great things. But hey, it's still partly about what your message is. So maybe it's about trying to find that balance as well. Business partnerships and your greatest accomplishments within your career. So, Saturn, we go back to Saturn, I suppose. Saturn does rule business partnerships. So, I think when it comes to working with another person, you prefer quality. It is about finding a qualified person, a professional person, someone who means business, someone who isn't just going to do a half assed job. So maybe with Saturn in the sixth and the seventh throughout 2025, a part of this is about working hard on widening your vision. New accomplished opportunities could come up as well when we think about this, but maybe a part of it is to try to reach new clients or customers, or to try and work with those professional people that maybe you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I would really like to work with that person one day. Hey, 2025 could be that year that you do that. Moving on then to this Mars retrograde. So Mars does rule this seventh house arena for you. And we go back, I suppose, to what I was saying earlier with Mars retrograde in the 11th and 10th houses at the beginning of the year. Maybe a good opportunity for you then coming into 2025, Libra, is if it is that you're wanting to maybe start building something new, a new project, or there is great maturity and growth on your part within business relationships throughout 2025. Maybe you could use Mars retrograde as an opportunity to go over old habits and to break patterns, to break certain cycles, especially ones that are very repetitive. And because of that, you clear so much space. You could look at it as clearing that space, and then by the time Jupiter comes into your 10th house in June, this is where you're going to really reap a lot of rewards. Do keep in mind that yes, Jupiter is going to continue to travel and make certain aspects. We're not getting into that today, but we do see, I think, a type of blessing or some form of new doors opening within your career, within your business. Thank you so much, Libra. And now on to Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, let's explore career for you throughout 2025, which, by the way, just quickly, Libra, yes, you've to make sure that you're looking to the moon in your personal chart to make it more personal in terms of, okay, what is your career? Where are you headed? And then for you, Scorpio, we notice that the sun, so the sun rules your 10th house of career. In your case, it's about locating the sun within your chart. Okay, to make it more personal. Okay, but let's look at this general sort of overview. As we enter 2025, Mars retrograde is happening in your 10th house of career and business. Therefore, it is a significant thing for you to go over your plans, how you want to structure things. Maybe career is strongly on your mind coming into 2025, certain career changes you want to make. Maybe it's that you want more self respect, or you want more money, or you want a promotion, you want to be recognized. Maybe it's that you want to take things to the next level when it comes to an accomplishment or an achievement. But Mars retrograde is about retracing your steps or reviewing, refining such areas. Okay. And then also, Mars retrograde from January time coming towards the end of February will be in your ninth house. So there is this question of what do you want from career? What do you want from your business? Maybe being a bit open to creativity and new ways, new passions, new interests, making things fun and playful. But the Mars retrograde up until the end of February could be about going within contemplation, just an honest review. Maybe a part of this is about spiritual guidance. Where do you feel called greatly? There could be interesting insights that come through, very intuitive indeed, Scorpio. Moving on then to money. So, the money that you make from your business or your career. Mercury rules this part, and the South Node will then be in your 11th house throughout 2025. And so you may be done with certain methods, you may be done with certain ways of earning money from your business. once you are able to see what isn't working and what's not really gaining you much, I think this is where you're going to make a lot of cutbacks. Perhaps this is about reconsidering the kinds of teams or communities or clubs or organizations that you want to be a part of. And if there's anything that you want to remove yourself from, I think 2025 will be that a year where you will clean up things. And you may also be open to new shared account or joint financial gains. Joining together, perhaps in this sharing way. And because of that, you might just earn even more. Yeah, this could be quite an interesting thing for you. There could be greater movement because you're open to collaborating or joining together with another person financially. Or it could be getting some financial support or taking out a loan to help you within your business, to help you improve. Career, property, or rentals. Well, Pluto. Pluto is in your fourth house here, Scorpio. And so it's interesting because Aquarius then opposes this 10th for you. And we see transformations and renewals to do with collaborations, deals, contracts. Maybe such matters are then linked to career property or rentals, a space that maybe you want to rent out with another person, a business partner. But I think it's more so by the end of the year when Mars enters your sign that we could see new property developments really start to take off. Perhaps Pluto in the fourth is more about embracing a transformation or a renewal, or it's more so about addressing what it is within yourself about certain new collaborations. And is there anything that you're resistant about? Maybe a part of it even is that you want to move, you want to relocate, and a big part of that is tied in with your career. So we could see this, for example, as okay, sure, you want to make a change within your career or enter into a different field, but you need to get some housing, living situation things in order first. Or it could be about landing a certain role or signing a certain deal. And then because of that, there's greater movement when it comes to property, when it comes to your living situation. Moving on then to business partnerships and greater accomplishments within your career. So, Saturn rules this business partnership arena, and Saturn has been in your fifth since March of 2023. Therefore, we can look at this as you going from experiencing limitations and setbacks when it comes to shared accounts and shared resources. But then come around about May until September, it's more so going to be about taking on a new training program or wanting to maybe even travel or to educate yourself further. I see this as you really making big leaps and big steps, closing out old chapters, entering new chapters when it comes especially to business partnerships. And it's these business partnerships, I think, that are strongly tied in with career and your business if you have a business. Maybe it is that you want to level up more so in collaboration with others, or it's that you want to be a part of a team or a unit or a company, an organization where there's greater efficiency, things work better, there's a better system in place. And let's talk about Venus. So, Venus retrograde will happen in your fifth and sixth houses. So, yes, the Venus retrograde is from March until April. Therefore, hey, we could look at this as you taking the time to pay off some debts, or we could look at this as you seeing the combining of resources to help you pay off a debt, or this is about you taking out a certain loan to help you succeed. But the retrograde, I think, is more about taking the time to review what kind of loan you need, how's it going to suit you for the long run. Is it maybe that you want to take things to the next level when it comes to accomplishments within your career? Is there, what I'm getting from this is a new chapter. This is about exploring a different role or a different position or project that maybe you do strongly commit to, and it's for the long haul. Oh, and just one other thing, do remember that Uranus has been in your 7th since 2018, and you have experienced sudden changes to do with your career path and how those things are strongly linked in with collaborating with another. This could be, for example, yes, a business partner. It could be even another manager or a team member, whatever it may be. Sudden changes have happened. And I think also you're seeking greater freedom. There's a breaking away, there's a breaking free feeling here, and maybe wanting to be a bit more independent as well. But naturally, the thing about this is Uranus will enter into your 8th house from July until October. And so you're going to get a taster of what's to come in terms of maybe innovating within groups and teams. We could see things really take off for you when it comes to being a part of a different organization or firm or company. Thank you, Scorpio. And now on to Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, let's talk about career throughout 2025 for you. Any career changes? Well, let's consider how the South Node comes into your 10th house throughout the year. Therefore, this is your opportunity during 2025 to let go of old habits and routines, to let go of old expectations, perhaps, perfectionism, perhaps, when it comes to career. Older methods may be looked at, addressed, and seen as this does not support me along my path any longer. Mercury retrograde that then will happen from March until April in your 5th and 4th houses. So, what could this indicate? Hey, you might revisit older clients, older partnerships, older contracts and agreements. So, for instance, let's say that you are a part of a business, you run a business, or it's that you are a part of a certain industry organization, and they come to you with this contract, right? They come to you with maybe an updated version of the contract, and take your time then to just think things through a little bit. Is this aligning, the information? Is it aligning with your future, with your priorities? We're going to see a lot of career stuff shift and change for you. A lot of it, I think, is going to be based on priorities and health, I would also say. Still, we also want to consider this as you reconsidering who you share money with, who you maybe owe money to, or who owes you money. So, yes, maybe such matters are again linked to career. So, for instance, it could be certain clients who haven't paid you, or it could be a certain invoice that you haven't looked over. Just whatever the case, we're just going to see you taking your time, hopefully, to go over certain strategies, plans, smaller pieces of information that are perhaps quite important for you career wise, professional wise, but hopefully at the same time, trying not to fuss too much or get caught up in too many details, right? Where you can overthink or overanalyze. Okay, money. Oh, also, sorry, one more thing I just want to mention. eclipses are going to happen then in the 10th and 4th houses. So actually, we're going to see significant new chapters unfold for you when it comes to your career, when it comes to business partnerships, also when it comes to your home life, your living situation, family stuff. I think a lot of Sagittarians, what this is looking like in a way is maybe for a long time you had it in your head that, okay, this is going to be the plan. Okay, this is what I want in terms of my profession, in terms of my business. But in actuality, you may find over the next couple of years, right, because the nodes will be in Pisces and Virgo, so your 4th and 10th houses, up until July of 2026, but you may find that you no longer align with that previous version of what you wanted. And that's okay, right? So, yes, there could be a letting go, but hey, it could also be a case of just outdated habits and routines just no longer aligning with you as well. Embracing new methods, perhaps. Okay, moving on. Money from business or career. Venus is the ruler of these this money stuff for you, and the South Node is leaving your 11th. So you may be coming into 2025 thinking to yourself, do you know what? Yes, I've let go of people pleasing, and because of that, my money situation is a lot healthier. I've made certain cutbacks. I've made myself a priority. I haven't been as indecisive. Because of that, the money that I'm making from my business, from my career, is a lot more fruitful, so to speak, a lot more rewarding. Big part of that could also be tied in with your self-worth. And you're thinking, yeah, I'm so proud of myself. Anyway, Venus retrograde will also happen in the 5th and 4th houses. So this is around the same time as the Mercury retrograde, March until April. But hey, this then will be reviewing your money situation so you can earn more. So we think about this maybe in terms of investments, wanting to make a profit. We could also look at this as, okay, so there are older clients or customers, or there's an older contract or agreement coming through. But what you do is you do a smart thing and you review what your money situation is and how does that document, how does that deal, how does that collaboration align with your money goals, your financial goals for you career wise, for you business wise? Career, property, or rentals. Jupiter rules this part for you. And Jupiter has been in your 7th, so in the opposite sign, since May of 2024. So, in actuality, we look at this as you really embracing what feels like, oh my goodness, reaching more people, really stepping it up within your career. And then June of 2025, for the next year, Jupiter comes into your 8th. New communities, groups, teams. Hey, it could be a whole different organization. Honestly, I think for some Sagittarians, it could literally be a case of changing your career path completely. For others, it could be about embracing a different community or a team or a group within your business, maybe networking differently. Maybe even a part of this is going back to this Jupiter in the 7th, is about feeling accomplished and appreciating the win, appreciating where you are, even if it is that you're a Sagittarius and maybe a big part of your career and your business has been about depending on someone else in some way, shape, or form. So, what I'm thinking about here is looking to your significant other, looking to your partner for financial reasons or because you need some time away, career wise, professional wise. We could also look at this as your partner coming into some money or them perhaps taking on a different role within their profession too. But so even if all of this is the case, Jupiter in your 7th, as yes, okay, sure, it's been somewhat challenging because maybe a part of this has been you finding it difficult to see the bigger picture at times. But it's also been a bit of a blessing, maybe because so much of what you need to do, it's not really up to you, so to speak. Maybe it's been about trusting in the support of other people, your spouse, your partner, maybe a close relative, a close friend. That's just an example. Plus, if it is that you're a Sagittarius and you're maybe a business owner, let's think about how Jupiter's move into the 8th. That could indicate growth and expansion to do with shared resources, joint financial planning. But to connect that in with how Jupiter is aligned with career property or rentals, hey, maybe this is about renting out a property, or this is about achieving or moving into some property with a group of people. Again, this is business wise, we're talking about. Maybe even this is looking at major property moves, investment moves within the organization you're a part of too. So if we think about this more career wise. Okay, so business partnerships and greatest accomplishments within career. I've sort of already touched on this already, but I mean, Jupiter has been in your 7th. And so this has been an opportunity for greater reach and feeling accomplished, feeling blessed. There could also be a part of this, though, that says still go over important information. Look over, okay, well, what worked well throughout 2024? How have I maybe benefited a little bit from my business partnerships or my clients expanding? Maybe even a part of it is having to be honest about what you can physically, literally take on as well. But hey, I think all in all, we could see this as you feeling pretty accomplished in many ways. And even just to further mention, there will be eclipses in the 10th and 4th houses. So, with the eclipses also happening in your 4th, this is where we're going to see significant new beginnings and chapters to do with business partnerships and clients. So, that's quite exciting. That is quite exciting. And then with Uranus coming into your 7th from July until October, we're also going to see innovation within your career. Trying something completely different or a completely different accomplishment. So I've sort of been insinuating that you might decide throughout 2025 that actually this path I thought I wanted, I don't want it anymore. And come the summertime, you have this epiphany, this awakening, this insight that steers you along a different journey, that sets you on a different path. Do also remember, of course, that you got to look to Mercury in your chart to make it more personal. But thank you so much, Sagittarius. And now on to Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, let's explore any significant career changes for you throughout 2025. What do we see here? The South Node is leaving your 10th. And so hopefully what we're seeing for you is greater decision about the next step when it comes to your career. We could also look at this as you feeling a bit more established or accomplished when it comes to collaborations, business partnerships, maybe socializing quite well, getting along quite well with members of authority, with your manager, with your boss. And if it is that you run a business, we can look at this as things being really very beautiful, right? Your appearance, your aesthetic is just awesome. Yeah. Okay. But we also then want to think about, firstly, where is Venus in your chart personally, right? To make it more personal. But then I also want to think about Venus retrograde happening from March until April in your 4th and 3rd houses. So I think throughout 2025, we could see an opportunity for you to revisit older partnerships and older contract and older agreement, older collaborations, review things, of course, refine things, take your time, see what aligns with you, Could all be for a greater purpose, plus reviewing your tasks and your responsibilities, your duties, and your routines within your career. Maybe this is about just setting out a new plan, or this is about cleaning things up and just reorganizing, reprioritizing matters so that you can be somewhat more successful. Money. So let's think about money from your business, from your career. Pluto then is one of the rulers of your money from your business or career, and Pluto is in your second. So what does this suggest? When it comes to any potential career or business moves that you're wanting to make throughout 2025, and this is going to be a common theme over the next 20 years for you, you are going to grow in your confidence, in your individuality. This is about your personal art style. This is about your creativity. This is about your authenticity. And it's these things that are going to set you apart and then help you make money from your business. And Mars retrograde then will be in your 8th and 7th houses. So this is coming into 2025 up until around about the end of February. So ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? How do you wish to lead within groups, lead within teams, and to also be a part of something that is bigger than yourself? I think these are the kinds of questions that you're going to be asking yourself. I think also a big part of it is about purpose. I mean, this is you we're talking about, Capricorn, and it is about purpose. So Mars retrograde highlights these questions about purpose and about the long vision, the long term, and this personal mountain of success that you have been climbing, right? Think about how Pluto was in your first house for the past 16 years. And so when we think about money from your business or money from your career, we saw then you maybe doing a lot of the work at home, or really making moves at home and showing great dedication, committing yourself perhaps to a different path or to a certain strategy. And we also maybe could look at this as some Capricorns, sure, perhaps experiencing such harsh realities, harsh truths, hardships. But I still can't help but think that this is a year where it's almost as if you're going to be pushed. Your self confidence is going to be pushed, your self esteem is going to be pushed. And again, as I say, a big part of this is aligning with this person that you're striving to become. And it's really asking yourself, who is that person? How can I make those moves today so that I am moving with purpose towards, how can I move with purpose and make moves today so that I can perhaps make my future self proud? Moving on then to career, property, or rentals. Saturn rules this for you, and Saturn is in your third up until about May time. And what we're going to see coming into 2025, and this has been the case since March of 2023, greater structure and efficiency. This has been such a big, important factor for you when it comes to task management, organization, productivity. But again, a lot of this is about efficiency. And then Saturn will enter your fourth from May until September. So that will be an opportunity for you to redefine business deals, for you to redefine collaborations. Maybe a big part of 2025 is asking yourself, who do I want to work with? Which kinds of people do I want to collaborate with? And it is going to be about quality, honestly, because it's you, Capricorn. And do keep in mind that this stuff that I mentioned is just a taster, and 2026 onwards is worth these things I mentioned are also going to take off strongly. But I also want to just bring this back a little bit to property and rentals because, with Saturn being a part of this, maybe it is about having to review where you are in terms of greater planning and structure so that you can afford a certain property with it for your business, for business reasons, for career reasons, or it's really taking your time to think about, well, when I see into the future, when I think about this for the long term, is this the right path for me? I think these kinds of questions are going to come up throughout 2025 for you. I think just a big part of it is about how to expand your business, how to reach more people. And then here we see with business partnerships and greater accomplishments within your career, Mars retrograde at the beginning of the year will support your community spirit, will support your teamwork, your reach. But it's questioning during the retrograde, what are you clinging on to? What are you afraid of? There's something here about comfort and maybe becoming moody or extra clingy to a certain ideal. Therefore, with Mars turning direct at the end of February and then more so coming towards May time, I think this is where we're going to see you having the courage, having the audacity, if you will, to take things to the next level professionally. Plus, Saturn in your fourth just might support successful contracts. Do be mindful though of Neptune, because Neptune will also come into the fourth around the same time. Neptune says show caution. Show healthy caution. Try to remember what is real versus an illusion. And of course, just remember to, as I say, locate Venus within your chart to make this more personal. Thank you, Capricorn. And now on to Aquarius. All right, Aquarius, let's now think about you. Let's explore any significant career changes throughout 2025. And what do we see? Mars and Pluto rule your 10th house of career, and then Pluto has entered your first, will be there for the next 20 years. So we could actually see this as you investing strongly. Maybe this is about career property, rentals, working from home, significant transformations occurring within these areas, search as well happening. And the thing to mention, moreover, is that yes, there will be the retrograde of Pluto throughout the year, so more towards the middle of the year. And that retrograde could just invite more of an honest review to do with these areas that I just mentioned. It could be more so that you're at the beginning stages, right? When we think about, okay, you want to maybe expand your business or you want to grow when it comes to your professional lives, you want to make a bigger impact or reach more people. Maybe a part of that does require ownership or property or rentals. And if this is the case, just use the retrograde then as a way to get clear on what you want or what is the best way forward. And as I say, because Pluto is at the beginning stages of your sign, this is just the beginning of a new chapter, I think, and things will start to gain momentum as time goes on. Moreover, Mars retrograde will happen in your 7th and 6th houses. Questioning coming into the new year up until around about the end of February. How do you want to be seen? How do you want to be recognized? Train, learn, refine your skills. This is about refining publications. Maybe it's about revisiting older publications, thinking to yourself, hey, do you know what? That worked really, really well the last time. I might want to try that again. Refining your teachings as well. Just use it maybe as a time, Aquarius, this Mars retrograde up until the end of February to get right with, okay, well, what is it that my audience wants to see, or what is it that really works well when it comes to broadcasting, publishing, reporting, and especially consider this if you are a business owner as an Aquarius, but this could also be about within your career, within your industry, maybe just exploring, revisiting training programs, maybe wanting to gain a different qualification in some way to help you level up. And that within itself can help you get ahead, or can help you succeed more, or enter into a different role where maybe you're getting paid more money. But then here's the other thing: money from business or career is ruled by Jupiter in your chart. So Jupiter has been in your fifth house since May of 2024. Therefore, this has been a good way for you to perhaps look over, okay, debts that you want to pay off, a possible loan that you want to take out to help you, to support you. Big part of this too could be about looking over shared accounts, shared resources strongly. But do remember that Saturn has been making a bit of a square to Jupiter, and Saturn's been in your second house. So as much as it is that you might want to really see things develop and change when it comes to shared accounts, you personally, so we think about the second house as your personal earnings, or the ways in which you manage your money, right? More so on a personal level, how you handle your personal stuff. There's challenges. There does seem to be some challenges here. Things will move, and we'll just mention that in a moment. We'll get to it. But essentially, with Jupiter in the fifth, money from business or career, I do see this as you having big aspirations or hopes to be successful when it comes to shared accounts. Plus, Jupiter will enter your sixth from June of 2025 for the next year. And so we could actually see this as you possibly traveling for career reasons, business reasons, learning more, taking on a different higher educational program, or just training, just really stepping into training mode. And because of that, or maybe it's about, learning how to make more money from business. So we think about this in a professional situation, in a business situation. Moving on though, career, property, or rentals. So let's think about how Saturn has been in your second house since March of 2023. Yes, blocks, resistance, but also creativity lessons are coming up here. I spelled lessons incorrectly, but creativity lessons. A part of this too, I think, has been about finding your own voice, or more so aligning with your individuality and your originality when it comes to your career, when it comes to your business. So whilst yes, it's been a bit annoying, sort of like, oh my gosh, things aren't moving the way I want when it comes to how I manage my personal savings and how I budget and spend and things like that. Just things don't seem to be going my way. It's still about you hopefully taking some time to see how you can build stronger foundations underneath to help support you for the future. But a lot of this as well, I think, is, as I say, it's about your own creativity, maybe your own personal style, your own personal art form. Saturn then will enter into the third from May until September. A new order, new routines. It's a new structure basically being ushered in, productivity, things like that. Neptune will also be with Saturn. This could be about newfound inspiration and following a different vision. But do keep in mind, with Neptune can also be a bit deceiving and delusional. But hopefully, with the support of Saturn, there can be healthy forms of being realistic and practical. Consider this stuff also in connection a little bit with career, property, or rentals. So for instance, if it is Aquarius that you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'd really like to maybe hire somewhere or rent a place for my business so that I can really expand it or grow it in some way, reach other people. Well, just remember to be mindful of anything that you're not being, well, I think a part of it is just trying not to get your hopes up so much or step into wishful thinking, and recognize that if such a thing is what you want, if such a new step is what you want, you've got to think about the practical stuff, the pragmatic stuff, the long term, to be in it for the long term. Could also be a new fine sense of responsibility, though. You could really step up. Do keep in mind, though, that 2026 is when we're really going to see things take off when it comes to this career, property, or rentals situation. Hey, Pluto is in the first. So again, it's a reminder that we're more so at the beginning stages of this. Okay, so Uranus. Uranus will enter your fifth. It's been in your fourth since 2018. So we could see sudden changes more so to collaborations that will continue on throughout 2025. But then you see from July until October, this could be some epiphanies or realizations to do with joint ventures. I'm thinking to myself, is it that you want to take out a loan so that you can afford some property for career reasons, for business reasons? That's what I may be getting from this. But I do just want to say be mindful of how maybe quickly you would enter into that. And I'm saying this because the planets, they're going to retrograde back. So could be maybe a useful thing to use 2025 as just a time to review where you're at and what is the next step for you. And then 2026 onwards could be where things do seem to take off. But hey, we could also look at this through a lens of planting the seed or setting something new in motion throughout 2025. And then you can just repair things, fix things along the way as well, right? So yeah, we could also look at it like that. But essentially, yeah, I think there could be new ventures, new chapters to do with career, property, or rentals. Business partnerships and greatest accomplishments within career. Venus then will be retrograde in your second and third houses from March until April. Go over your accounts, Aquarius. Just go over all of the financial stuff, get right with things, see who is maybe linked to you financially, or any purchases, any expenses that you need to look over. Just go over it for business reasons, and then you can maybe get yourself onto a more healthy a healthy way of approaching your finances. Your wealth or your aspirations, desires when it comes to wealth could be in a stronger position because you take that time. Plus, Mars. Mars will be direct in your seventh house. All right, so we think about May time. May onwards, we could really see you moving forward with this greater ambition. I would say more at the beginning of the year. It's like you're in this preparation period, or you're in this training period, and you're trying to refine yourself creatively, or you're trying to refine how you want to be recognized for your accomplishments, how you want to be seen, what's your niche, what's your style, what's your creative edge. And then May onwards and throughout the year, we could see such key areas take off, or it's that you're going to feel a lot more confident about the next step. Do remember, however, if you want more information to make it personal, if you want more information about your career, look to where your Mars is in your chart. Thank you, Aquarius. And now on to Pisces. Okay, Pisces. So let's talk about career for you throughout 2025. Well, any career changes, we want to think about Jupiter. Jupiter rules career for you. Also, do keep in mind where Jupiter is in your chart natally to make it more personal. But Jupiter is in your fourth and has been there since May of 2024. So this could suggest increased partnerships, but also we're noticing possibly property blocks, property limits, because Saturn has also been making that square. So we're thinking more about coming into 2025. Things will start to ease throughout the year, of course, but still we're seeing some limitations and blockages at the beginning of the year. Hey, this could also be a case of you saving for property or for rental, maybe for business-wise, career-wise. And then Jupiter is going to enter your fifth house from June 2025 for the rest of the year. So we could actually look at this as some form of increase or expansion to do with investors, stakeholders, loans, clearing debts. So all these matters could contribute to potential career changes for you throughout 2025. But to think about money that you make from your business or your career, Saturn rules this. And Saturn is in your sign, in your first. Again, similar theme, similar message of blocks and limits to resources, but you're also learning valuable lessons. It's about being cautious. Possibly you will want to invest in property in some way, but there is that healthy, hopefully healthy level of caution involved. And Saturn will then enter your second from May until September. This is just a glimpse of what's to come. Of course, the full uh, transit of Saturn in your second will be 2026 onwards. But maybe what's going to be ushered in for you, Pisces, throughout 2025 is this question of, do I feel fulfilled within this role? Does this align with me? Maybe also questions about pleasure, interest, enjoyment, time off, children as well. I mean, if it is, for instance, that you want to have another child or have a child with your significant other, maybe it is about making more money and it's about making money last. These are the types of things that you're really going to be focusing on. It's just making your money, making the money that you earn from business or career last for the long haul. So a whole new set of challenges could be up ahead, but also very rewarding, right? Moving on then to career property or rentals. Neptune, of course, is in your first, has been there since 2011. And so we have been seeing this dreamy fantasy feeling, a new way, a new chapter could be related to career property or rentals, but this overall is about a new chapter for you, a new identity chapter, thinking about spiritual growth, you growing when it comes to spiritual wisdom. And Jupiter as a part of this, well, Jupiter moving from the fourth into the fifth, we could see this as some sort of deal or an agreement, an inheritance, paying off debts. Maybe it's these kinds of situations that can support you with career rentals, career property. And then when we explore business partnerships and your greatest accomplishments, let's consider how it's Mercury and Mercury. And there is the Mercury retrograde in your first and second houses. This is from March until April. March until April. That retrograde will give you an opportunity to polish things up, to look over important information, to see what other changes you maybe want to make when it comes to business contracts. And I'm also thinking to myself a little bit because the South Node is in your seventh house throughout 2025. The North Node's in your sign. So a lot of this talk about collaborations and partnerships and things like that, I actually think that a big part of 2025 is going to focus more so on what you desire and what you want, and maybe easing up on or removing yourself from overly critical, overly harsh connections and relationships. This could be, of course, related to business partnerships, right? So maybe by you separating yourself or by you embracing a new chapter, a new vision, or putting yourself first a little bit, or by you maybe even not being so caught up in, okay, I need to be perfect all the time within this, then you set yourself free. There's something quite freeing about this, I think. There's something here about wanting to spread your wings and not have to define yourself based on other people's expectations or account for things that you're not, to take responsibility of things that you're not responsible for. And maybe a part of it too is about clearing space so that healthier relationships, healthier business connections can come up. But still, Mercury retrograde from March until April, it's still a good opportunity for you to just look over certain contracts and agreements. Maybe it is literally about leaving a certain job. It is, or it's about doing away with a certain contract that just doesn't speak to you anymore. Or it's about saying goodbye to a certain accomplishment that doesn't align with you energetically. I think for you Pisces, with the North Node especially in your sign, 2025 is just a big year for clearing space, getting rid of what no longer suits you, serves you, what no longer has your best interest at heart. And I do think, sure, a big part of this will involve career changes. Thank you so much, Pisces. And with that, this has been your career/business horoscopes for 2025. Hey, you know what? I hope that you did enjoy them. Thank you for listening. I hope that you find them to be helpful. If you want to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. If you benefited from your reading, you can always buy me a coffee. But overall, make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye!